Welcome to a very special podcast. It's actually a joint podcast between the Maximus podcast and the Gospel of Fire podcast. Your hosts today are Bobby Maximus, Joe Cebula, and Eliot Marshall. Eliot and Joe, how are you guys today?
Oh, we're doing great.
I'm doing great, man. You know, it's got a foot of snow overnight here in Colorado, so running a little behind, but such is life.
Good. I like it. I just don't want to hear you Americans complain about the snow. Where I grew up, my mom sent me a text today. It's minus 50 without the wind chill.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean there's snow on the ground fucking up traffic, right?
There's like 30 feet of snow where I'm from. Have you ever watched the Game of Thrones?
It's the greatest show of all time.
Yeah, you know, north of the wall, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
I'm actually the only real life wildling you guys know. But anyway.
Got it.
Yeah,
so
meanwhile, I'm here in Minnesota and all the schools are closed because we got a foot of snow. And hey, guess what? It's 39 below without the wind chill. So right there.
Yeah. Well, let's get going on this. I'm actually not sure if this is going to be the greatest podcast ever or a complete shit show. It could go either way. But Eliot, let's start with you.
But that's the only way. That's the only way that you're looking at greatness. Like there's no other way to look at greatness. It either has to be the best or, oh my God, we're just not even going to fucking air it.
That's
right.
correct.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Right.
So tell us, Eliot, a little bit about the Gospel of Fire podcast and who you are.
All right. So the Gospel of Fire is a podcast about doing hard shit in your life, understanding that the real gospel, the gospel of life, is built in fire. It's not built in any book. It's not built with any particular belief system other than we have to do hard things. Like the hardest thing is the best thing, and if it doesn't, like the obstacle is the way. So when we follow those principles and we do that together with people, like not on our cell phones and not over social media, but actually with another person and have real communication, and we do hard shit, then man, that's the gospel. That's the real gospel.
Love it. And Joe, because I'm going to end up talking a lot on this episode, why don't you tell people a little bit, especially for Eliot's listeners, about Maximus podcast?
So the Maximus podcast is kind of a joint venture between me, Joe Cebula, and Bobby Maximus. My background, I was a Taekwondo fighter. So back in college, University of Iowa, collegiate Taekwondo national team. So I competed nationally, had some state titles, hundreds and hundreds of fights. I couldn't even tell you. That started my training background. So here I am now 20 some years later. I've owned a CrossFit gym. I do online personal training, and now this podcast.
Good. I like it. And me, Bobby Maximus, I washed up B-level MMA fighter. That's how I introduce myself to most people.
No, you have a win in the UFC, right?
I do have a win. I'm also, Eliot, just so you know, I am the only white belt in UFC history to win submission of the night. And I am clinging to that for dear life because it's my only real accomplishment in my life.
You have a win. So I think you move off of B level once you have a win.
Fair enough. I like that. You're a good man. Butter me up before all our shit talk. But anyway, the format of this, and Joe, I'm glad you brought up your Taekwondo. You're the perfect moderator for this. Yes. The goal of this podcast, to get right into it, is Eliot and I had a fight in 2007. And I'm a huge fan of sport, but a fan of what happens behind the scenes in sport. And we have recently moved from mortal enemies to the friendship realm, Eliot. And I think it would be really neat for people to listen to what a fight looks like from each fighter's perspective, because we don't see that a lot. We see the matchup, we see people fight, but we never see the lead up or the behind the scenes from each person's perspective. So I'd love to go over that today.
Let's do it. I'm down.
All right. So
you got some questions.
I'm going to act as kind of a moderator. So I'm going to keep sort of rough track of who's talking and where we're at on time for that. I'm going to try to make sure that I'll ask one of you a question. I'll give you time to respond to that question, and I'm going to give the other person a chance to respond to that question. And we'll try to keep this just as fair and as fun as possible. So with that having been said, Eliot, I'm going to start with you.
Yes.
So my question for you is, how did this fight come about?
This fight came about because my promoter at the time, Sven Bean, said, "Hey, here's your fight." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." That's simple. That's simple. I'll never turn down a fight. I never turn down a fight. I never will. When there's a matchup in front of you, you fight.
So this sounds like it was just another day at the office for you.
Man, I had never lost, and that's going to be a big theme here for me personally when we talk, is that at this point in my career, I had never lost a fight. I hadn't probably lost anything in like 2 fucking years. So,
sure.
I'd been on.
So would it be safe
streak.
to say that you were feeling pretty confident about your chances?
I was just going to walk in there and fuck him up. Yeah.
All right, fair enough, Bobby. From your perspective,
for me, that actually surprises me, Eliot, because this fight was sold to me under the tone of just pure disrespect, that I was getting sent to your hometown, Broomfield, Colorado, so that I could be a stepping stone for you to get in the UFC. Because for people that don't know the fight game, there's 2 ways to get in the UFC. Put together a tremendous record in lower organizations, or beat a UFC guy and you get your ticket. And so it was sold to me as I was being put on a platter for you so you could have your road straight to the show.
Well, that's probably true from a promoter standpoint. From a promoter standpoint, I hadn't lost yet, right?
Yep.
I was crushing everyone. Like everyone got stopped. There was no decisions. I was on the UFC's radar, obviously, and yeah, that's what you do. You fight UFC vets when you haven't been there yet, and you had been there.
And from my perspective, there was a little bit of me trying to make the UFC again, too. I had lost a fight, won a fight, and then lost a fight in the UFC. I got cut, and I had to fight some really good people to get back in. So your name came up. I got offered it, and away we went.
Yeah, it made sense for both of us, right? I was undefeated, a big prospect. You wanted back in.
And I also had a bit of a background with Sven, too, because I was part of a team when I fought you, Eliot. I was fighting with Shaw Franco, martial arts out of Toronto, which was a Silvio Bering affiliate. But before that, I was with Team Tompkins, and Sean Tompkins was really good friends with Sven Bean, close with Dwayne Ludwig, close with Boss Rutan, who'd cornered me all my fights before that. And so there was kind of a natural connection there. And it was funny because I was being, I think, set up a little bit to put you over, but at the same time, I trusted Sven. So, from my perspective, it was kind of like, why not?
Those goddamn fucking snake promoters.
I know you can never trust.
I like Sven. So. I like Sven, but I hope you took that well, Sven. But yeah, No,
and he was always good to me. I mean, he was always, but you're right. Like the funny thing is people have asked me in the past if I like Dana White. And my answer has always been, I don't know him well enough on a friendship level to like him or dislike him. But I respect him for business because with that guy, he will always do what's in the best interest of UFC.
Look,
he doesn't play favorites. He doesn't. I mean, he's
hold on. He plays favorites. He plays favorites because it's in the best interest of the UFC.
Well, that's what I mean.
Until it's not. As far as the Dana White thing, look, you got to just know what you're dealing with in Dana, right? Yep. Like you can't get sucked into this like he's your buddy thing.
No.
Like he came over. Look, the UFC was just in Denver. I don't know, end of the year or something. And I hit the UFC up. They got me tickets. I'm sitting there with my kid. He came over, said hello, introduced himself to my kid, like talked to my kid for a minute. It was very nice. It was very cordial, and he's always been very cordial to me. But let's make it no discrepancies. We're not friends.
No. He is going to do whatever needs to be done to put that organization over.
It's going to be very interesting. We're going to see what happens with Conor here soon, right? Conor's lost 2 fights in the UFC, his last 2. He lost to Floyd. Excuse me. And in his next fight, we're going to see, because how do you sell Conor coming off technically 4 losses?
George St. Pierre.
Yeah, I know, but he's fighting Cowboy next.
Oh, got you.
So after that, how do you sell? Now that fight won't sell. George will never take that fucking fight.
Yeah.
George doesn't need the money.
Although I think George, and I'm friends with George, and someone that we used to fight back in Canada way back in the day in an organization called UCC. Mm-hmm. He used to be on the amateur wrestling circuit too. A lot of people don't realize how good that guy is at wrestling, but I think George would take Conor apart.
Oh, he'd destroy Conor.
I don't even think it'd be close.
He'd destroy Conor. He's too smart. He's too smart, and Conor going up to 170 doesn't have the power.
No,
right? He's not gonna put, like, at 155, at 145, he's putting dudes away with one shot. He ain't putting George away with one shot.
No, I don't know if there's anyone that can.
Well,
let's bring this back to your fight.
All right.
I get off track a lot, guys.
No, that's good.
I get off track a lot. My wife, sometimes has to hit me on top of the fucking head when. All
right. Well, we'll try to keep this train from getting derailed.
All right.
Bobby, what were your initial impressions of Eliot?
Honestly, scared to death. My trainer and Shaw, if you're listening, I love you. When this fight got pitched and we took it, I told Shaw I was fighting Eliot Marshall. I kind of used to manage myself a little bit. The first words out of Shaw's mouth were, "Don't go to the ground with this man. There's nothing that I can teach you to stop you from getting choked unconscious." And I'm like, what the fuck, Shaw? Like, thanks for the confidence. He goes, you can beat him, but you got to keep this on your feet. You go to this ground with this man, you will die. So my first impression was basically, Eliot, that you were the greatest grappler of all time in the history of the fucking world.
What kind of research did you do?
None. I just trusted Shaw. He was my guy. And if Shaw Franco and Silvio Behring are going to tell you that this is one of the greatest grapplers on the planet, I believe them. I mean, they gave me all kinds of things. I think, Eliot, you were the only American to maybe win Pan Ams at every belt level. Worlds a bunch of times.
Other than black. I didn't win at black.
Other than black.
Yeah,
fair.
I wasn't a black yet.
But they fed my head full of all kinds of stuff. And I was basically like, wow, I'm basically fighting the world's best grappler here. So that was my impression of you.
All right, Eliot, same question. What did you think of Bobby?
I told you, I'm going to fuck him up. I'd never lost.
No fear at all.
None. No, I mean, well, fear. Yeah, right. You're like,
sure.
Okay, hold on. Fear that I was not aware about until fight night came, but yeah, fear. I mean, you're always nervous, but not like.
Right.
But you just go do camp, man. Like this was nothing special for me. This was just another day where I was gonna go, like, until you lose. It's just another day until you're going to go out there, you're going to fuck somebody up, you're going to party afterwards. Like, you don't know any different. You know no adversity. Or maybe adversity in the fight, but when you're thinking of fight night, you're nervous, but like everything that you've experienced up until this point has been phenomenal.
Did you do any digging on him as a fighter, watch any film, anything like that?
Nope. I knew he was Greco.
And that's enough. You knew what to do.
That's enough. I knew, he's a Greco-Roman wrestler. He was going to try to throw me and beat me up. And let me think, what else did I know? I knew, it wasn't like he was a crazy striker. He wasn't like fucking Anderson Silva. I'm not Anderson Silva. He wasn't like a phenomenal grappler. I was, so he had the wrestling, I had the grappling, and, let's call our striking somewhere, yes.
All right. So this fight ended up being rescheduled. It was originally set for September. What happened to Eliot?
I got a staph infection in my knee. I didn't walk from I think it was the middle of July until literally the week before the fight. I was on IV antibiotics. My knee. I came home one day and like my knee like hurt, and I was like, man, I must have fucking bumped my knee or some shit, And then I woke up in the middle of the night. I went to go take a pee, and my knee was like just throbbing. I fell over. I like passed out. I was like, Renee, I'm not okay. Renee's my wife, and she like looked at me. I had a fever. I had the chills. I had to go to the hospital that night. I didn't get admitted because she's a nurse practitioner, so she could do everything at home for me. Like, and I knew the ER doc. I'm friends with the ER doc. And yeah, so I was immobile.
When was the decision made to postpone the fight on your end?
3 weeks later, so somewhere in August, I believe. I don't quite remember. Okay. But like when I still wasn't walking, when my knee was still the size of like a baseball, a softball, like, and I was like every twice a day we had to stick a needle in and drain fluid out at that point. Like there was. Even if the knee got better, I don't know, when was the fight scheduled? Do you remember the date? Somewhere in September, right?
September 17th, okay, I believe.
So like, the second week of August when I hadn't trained for 3 weeks, and I couldn't walk. Yeah, I was out.
So as a fighter, like what was that experience? I mean, were you frustrated? Were you like just okay with it because you kind of knew it needed to happen?
I was worried about my health, man. I was sick.
Sure.
Like I was really sick. I wasn't like I wasn't even concerned about like anything fight wise. I was really sick. I just wanted to walk again. You know, like I think we all cut weight. Have you cut weight, Joe?
Oh yeah, of course.
Everyone thinks like when you cut weight, you're like, oh goddamn, you want a steak, man? Fuck you. You don't want a steak. You want water, right?
Yeah.
Right? Would you agree, Bobby?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're not like, oh god, I can't wait to have this fucking phenomenal meal. I just wanted to walk. You know, like I didn't give a fuck about fighting. I just wanted to walk.
And Bobby, when you found out that this fight was going to be postponed, what was your reaction?
So I want to ask you a question, Eliot, then I'll give my answer, because this is a narrative that my camp kind of, I think, put inside my head. Was any of the staph infection fear-induced?
Yes, all of it. You know, I got very scared. I got ridiculously scared, right? Like I took a needle and I injected it into my knee so that I could go to the hospital and then they could like put another needle in my arm so I could get antibiotics. And like I don't know how I fear induced the passing out, you know, but I guess you can have panic attacks and pass out. But yes, all fear induced.
So here's why I say this. A lot of people, the behind the curtain look at Bobby Maximus is in a gym. I'm that guy, Eliot, that can come to your practice and you will wonder, or your training, and you will wonder how I'm not a UFC heavyweight champion. Like I always perform well in training, but when it comes to competition, I'm not embarrassed to talk about it now, but I was an absolute head case back in the day. And a lot of that stemmed from the fact that I was bullied a lot as a kid. I lacked self-confidence. And so I used to just really get inside my head before fights. And one of the things that really, has marked my career is I've beat people I have no business beating, and I've lost to people I have no business losing to. Like I always seem to fight up or fight down depending on the day. And I started working with a sports psychologist named Brian Kane, who was
fuck that motherfucker.
Yep,
he worked with me for my camp too against you, or right after you. Fuck him. No, that's how I got introduced to him after you.
Fair enough. Well, I worked with him. I mean, he was my secret weapon to beat you, but I was introduced to him through Rich Franklin, George St. Pierre, a guy named Tom Murphy, who's an incredible. Tom
Murphy came down to our gym when I was fighting and did that like where are you from, like ancestor DNA shit.
Oh wow, yeah, he's into that. He's a good grappler and a good fighter. Very good
grappler. Yeah.
I think really, really underrated. But I got him from him, and my camp had me convinced, because Shaw, my trainer, and he's really like a father figure to me. I lost my dad when I was younger, but Shaw had me convinced that you saw pictures of me, and I was so big and strong, and outweighed you by so much that you wanted nothing to do with me. So you made up this injury so you could have more time to prepare for me. And that, honestly, you getting staph was probably what led to my like self-belief that allowed me to, I think, win that fight. If we would have fought in September, I think you would have beat me. But once I had that narrative in my head that you were kind of scared and you were ducking me and disrespecting me and you were faking this injury, I was on a whole nother planet of self-confidence and honestly just drive.
That's the mind is all of it, right? Like I can't agree with you more about like like the winning and the losing thing. Like I didn't figure it out until recently. I've recently figured out what they have that. They say that athletes that have it. I've recently figured out what it is and how to get to it.
Yep.
And I did not before. And it was like, you'd go out there. I don't know where we want to go with this, but like when we walked out to fight, you were in the cage already, and I walked out, and I was losing my fucking shit. Like I'd never lost my shit before a fight, like in my mind. And like I always liked to see my wife. Like she would always be sitting like somewhere front row, somewhere where I could see her. And I'd always like to see her and like nod at her. And like I walk out and I'm looking right at her seat, and all I see is an empty seat. Like, it's empty. No one's there. And I'm like, is she fucking kidding me? I'm the goddamn fucking main event. She knows I like this. It's not hard to know when I'm going on. Don't go to the bathroom. Right? Like, this ain't fucking hard. What the fuck? I was really upset. And then, like, she was sitting right there. She was looking at me with her hands up like, what the fuck do you want? And I could not see her. And then all of a sudden, we get in the cage, they announce us, and then I hear her. And I'm like, fuck. You know, like, I could hear her loud and clear. I don't know, you know, like, so my mind was like, when you want to talk about the mind of competition and sport, where you were and where I was were total opposite places.
Yeah, and for me, Eliot, like, I get that better than anybody, because one thing, and I'll say this to you, I am forever grateful to you, because that fight that night, you brought out the best in me. Like that, if I could have been who I was that night, that was December 1st, 2007, I think I would have had an incredible career in the UFC. It kind of unlocked that ability in me, but it all stemmed, honestly, from you getting staph. Because
how many fights did you have after me?
Just two. Just two. But I couldn't harness what I did that night.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
When you got staph, it set off this whole chain in my head, and the stuff that Shaw was telling me and my buddy Matt, it became, like I said, you were using me as a stepping stone, disrespecting me, making fun of me, playing with my emotions, faking injuries because you were scared. Like, I was on a mission to hurt you. At that point, like, I flipped from being scared and nervous and like I'm fighting this really good guy in his hometown to just like, have you seen Rocky 3?
Yes, of course.
Like Clubber Lang. I was going to murderize you. and that's what switched it.
You did. I did. We were in opposite places, and you did.
Yeah, and I believe if it would have happened in September, you wouldn't have had staph. You would have got me, because my mind would have got the better of me. But that was like I was on a whole nother planet at that point.
Interesting. And that I love. I mean, that's really like what people at home see about the sport. You know, sometimes it's the trash talk in the front and the show, you know, what the producers want people to see. But what you just said, Bobby, that's what I love about the sport, is because it is two guys bringing the best out of each other, because only the best will win.
You didn't bring the best out of me at all, Bobby.
Well, no. You can only get one at a time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was his night. Yeah, that was his night.
Yeah,
but that's how it goes.
Yes,
you know?
for sure.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
That was probably one of the worst I've ever performed.
So let's talk about the lead up, because Bobby said that the fight ended up being in December, so you had a few extra months. Yep. So Bobby, what was your lead up to the fight? Knowing from the time that it was postponed, what changed in your training? What changed in your psychology, and what did you do leading up to prepare for that fight?
So the 3 months before, I trained pretty much like I'd always trained. I tried to train twice a day. I worked on some striking, some wrestling, some grappling, but there was nothing out of the ordinary about my training. Like you said, Eliot, it's just another day at the office. Like, I'm just going about my business. When I was flowing out, I don't know if you remember this, Eliot, I was flowing out for a press conference for the Ring of Fire that we were supposed to fight at.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember our paths crossed. I don't even remember what it was. It was like
we were standing in the back. They were walking us out. They were going to walk us out. We got booed.
Yo, I remember that. But even before that, the weigh-ins, the night before that Ring of Fire, it was held somewhere, and you were there and I was there. Like a theater or like a restaurant or something like that. Maybe a Dave & Buster's.
Sure.
And I remember
maybe Dave & Buster's. Yeah, I don't remember. I remember standing in the back with you before.
I remember seeing you, and then my narrative of disrespect really took flight. I'm like, look at this skinny motherfucker. I'd be scared shitless of me too. And I remember you looking at me and thinking you were giving me dirty looks. And it was probably all manufactured in my head, because you got to understand, I had this one guy, Matt McDonald, in my head. He's a Jamaican guy who I used to train with all the time. And he's that guy, your friend that always kind of endorses for you to do ratchet shit and go off on people. So he was always hyping me up to fight people in the clubs, and everybody that walked by me was looking at me funny and disrespecting me. He was in my ear with this stuff, and you're surrounded people like that, you become that. Like,
yeah, I remember in the back, you were a fucking dick. You're a total dick. And I'm like, man, we're not fucking fighting yet. We got like 3 months. What are you being a dick for?
That's because of my good friend, Matt McDonald. You were disrespecting me fundamentally, everything I stood for. And every time we would train, he would just spout shit in my ear. This fucking Rossclot, this Bumbaclot's disrespecting you, spitting on your name.
And I was wondering why you were being a dick, right? I'm like, man, like, what the fuck, man? I was in the hospital last week. Why the fuck are you being such an asshole?
I was ready to fight you right there.
I guess so. You didn't believe that I was in the hospital. You thought I was faking it, right?
No, just more disrespect.
Yeah.
You showed up to this thing looking fine, like you don't have a scratch on you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't. I hadn't fucking gotten out of bed until the week before, motherfucker.
And I remember.
Yeah, I was great. Everything was perfect. Yeah, no scratches, not sore at all, right? Like, nobody had touched me. You know, like, no sex, babe. You know, I'm fucking sick. Like, you know, nothing, man. So, yeah, I'm fucking fine.
And I remember calling Matt. I'm like, Matt, I don't think he's sick. Of course this motherfucker ain't sick. He's playing with you. He's laughing at you with all his friends. So I was just, these guys were amping me up. And so at that moment.
Can I get Matt's number?
Pardon?
Can I get Matt's number?
Of course, you can talk to him.
I would have been undefeated going into the fucking UFC if it weren't for this guy.
He's just amping me up. Anyway, I flew home from there. And the first thing I did was dump my girlfriend of a year and a half because she was holding me back. And I just had to do everything I could to just murder you. So I dumped her, threw her out of my apartment, broke up with her, stopped hanging out with certain friends that I thought were soft. I started getting fights every time I would go to a club.
Man.
No, totally.
He had to have like a cutout of your face on the mirror, Eliot, and he would spend 15 minutes staring into your eyes every day.
I was an important part of your life. What would happen if we never reconnected?
I don't know.
Holy shit, man! I'm a big deal in your life.
Yeah. So I started getting in fights a lot too. It's funny. This came up. My mother-in-law asked me how many fights I've been in, like outside the ring in my life. I'm like, I don't know, maybe 100 to 200. And her poor jaw dropped. She's like, why were you in so many fights? Like, what did people do? I'm
Eliot Marshall.
It didn't matter. Call Eliot Marshall. So I was fighting everybody. I started weighing and measuring my food. Like I was, going to bed early. Like I was just on, my sole existence in life was to beat you and get back in the UFC at that point.
Word.
So that's how I lived, Joe. I was, like I said, fighting every day, training, like just on a mission.
Fuck.
All right, Eliot. Same question.
God damn.
Let's go back to you recover from the staph infection. You're getting back into training. What is your lead up to this fight? Where are you? What is the narrative?
No different. Nothing. The same.
Just another day in the office.
Well, I didn't know anything different.
Sure. Yeah.
I knew nothing different. So why would I do anything different? I'd beaten everyone's ass up to this point, and I'm gonna beat his ass.
So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's
go
ahead.
I was just going to say, so after the sickness, like where were you on weight? Did you end up having to gain weight before the fight?
Man, look, I was never over like 215.
Okay.
So and that was no training, no nothing. So by the time we trained for a week, I was like 211.
Okay. So what did your last cut end up being before the fight?
I don't know, 2 pounds.
2 pounds? Bobby, what about you?
27 pounds. I woke up the morning of weigh-ins at 9 o'clock. I weighed myself in. I was 232, and I had to get down to 205.7.
How?
He tried to blame this on me. That that had to be in my home state of Colorado, where his favorite restaurant, Qdoba, is. Fuck off, man.
Okay. So
he calls me up. He's like, I want you to know something. And I'm like, what do you want me to know, man? He's like, it's your fault. The sauna is your fault. And I'm like, whoa. What do you mean? And then he's explaining. I'm like, look, nobody made you go to Qdoba. I could have gone to Qdoba too, and I didn't.
So, here's the deal, Eliot. I'm not naturally necessarily the angriest guy in the world. I was so focused.
I know it sounds like I brought it out of you.
Yeah, I was so focused for that fight that I couldn't keep it up. Like I was so, and it wasn't just you. I mean, I wanted to get back in the UFC. I felt disrespected. I felt I got cut unfairly. You know how you're supposed to lose 2 in a row before you get cut? That's kind of like the unwritten rule. I won one, lost one, and then they cut me. So I was upset about that. And I just had a chip on my shoulder. And then, like I said, these guys in my ear, my whole fight team in Toronto was all Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Haitians, and they were just in my ear all the time about people disrespecting me. And so you start to become who you hang around. A lot of them were gangbangers. A lot of them were really fucking hard people, like those people that have got something to prove to everyone else. And so I was ready to go. Like, Eliot, do you know who Jimmy Butler is?
No, not at all. Who is?
He's a basketball player who's just got a chip on his shoulder about everything, and that's who I was hanging around with all the time, guys like that. And so when it came before the week before the fight, I kind of I got exhausted from being like that. So the week before the fight,
because it wasn't you.
Yeah, it was hard. So I stopped training. I just started eating Qdoba. I started a video game called God of War 2. So I started playing that, and I just kind of checked out. And my weight kept rising and rising and rising. So I show up Friday morning to meet Shaw because he flew in. He goes, all right, let's get on the scale. And I was 232, and he hit the fucking roof. Swearing at me, yelling, speaking in some kind of patois from Trinidad that I didn't understand, but I knew he was real angry. And he looks at me and he goes, you're going to make weight or you're going to die. One of the two. Like, fuck.
Because you didn't leave Canada at 232. I'm taking it.
No, I did not leave Canada 232. So I weighed 232 for this thing.
What did you leave Canada at?
Oh, shit. I was like 218.
You gained 14 pounds?
Fuck, just ate and ate and ate and ate and ate all day and just sat on my ass and played video games. So when I got there, Shaw, I mean, and here's where my fear of the sauna comes from. Those motherfuckers, him and Matt, put a broomstick through the handle in the sauna and fucking left me in there for 4 hours. I wanted to die, passed out a couple of times. I was as close to, I think, serious bodily harm from a weight cut as a person can get, which, Eliot, has happened to guys.
Yeah.
Like people can die from this shit.
It's ugly. It can get real ugly.
And I was close. I passed out a bunch of times. The funniest was Matt, that hype guy. He lost 17 pounds that day cutting with me, and that motherfucker didn't even have a fight.
Dude, I have this experience. This happened to me with Tyler once, Tyler Toner. We were up, I don't know where we were, somewhere, and it just wouldn't come off him, and I'm just sitting in the sauna for 4 hours with him. And I can remember that after we got out, I took care of him. I didn't take care of myself at all, because I'm like, okay, he's the one that's got to fight. I'm not paying attention to it. And then the first thing that I did was drink beer, and I felt so shitty. I didn't have to fight. I was retired, right? I was done. I was like, oh, what the fuck? And I'm sitting there in the restaurant, what's going on right now? And I was fucked up. I was really fucked up, and I could not figure out why. And then I was like, oh shit, I don't think I had anything to drink. Beer? Fuck this beer. No, god damn it. Yeah. So, yeah, I've been the other guy.
I also have a memory of in the sauna that time. I went ape shit when they locked me in because I didn't want to do it anymore. I would have quit probably if it wasn't for them.
Right.
And when they took a broomstick and put it through the handle, I was trying to break the door down. I tried to fight Matt in there, but I was too weak. I couldn't do shit. But I went rampage on that thing, screaming at them, and those motherfuckers just laughed at me.
Somebody should write a book about sauna stories, about weight cutting stories, because I'm almost all of my good ones, almost every good story I have, or a lot of them, revolve around weight cutting stories.
Oh, for sure. And then I went and laid on the top shelf of the sauna, and they slid a credit card under the door, and Matt, God bless him, just squeegeed the sweat off me as I just melted away. And when I passed out, they pulled me out, laid me down for a while, splashed some water on me. When I recovered, they put me back in there till I'd pass out again. Shaw wasn't kidding. I think he would have let me die.
It sounds like it, man.
No way. Those guys are fucking crazy, but there was no way I was not making weight. They would have left me in the sauna.
How many pass outs did you have?
3 or 4.
I won. I'm okay with one. I had one fighter pass out once, and I put him back in.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit. They just kept dousing me with cold water, put him back in.
Fucking A.
Yeah, it sounds like they would have weighed your corpse and said, "Hey, he made it."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what these guys. You got to understand, Joe and Eliot. These guys are like their whole life is fighting. It's the only thing they have. You know what I mean? It was regular at that club. Like there was a guy, Richie. Hey, where's Richie? And Shaw would be like, Richie, he's not here. He's either sick or in jail again. I'm like, fuck. All right, cool. This is how we were. So it was like you're going to win this or you're going to die. One of the two.
Right, so Bobby, give me a time frame here. So you were 232 in Canada. You left Canada. You said you got down to 218.
No. I was about 218 in Canada, and I'm guessing I could have been 222 or 223.
But you weren't 232.
But I was not 232, and I'm saying 218, Eliot, because generally before fights, when I would get to the fight before weigh-in, I'd be about 218 to 222. Like that was my normal weight. You know what I mean?
I liked under 20. I like to be under 220.
Yeah. And then whatever. So I don't really know. I didn't weigh myself before I left. And I didn't think eating would do that much damage. But Qdoba has a lot of salt.
Yeah.
And I got bloated.
Did you get queso on that shit?
I did get queso on that shit.
That didn't help.
Important question.
That didn't help.
Yeah, I was drinking some beer, a lot of Jägermeister and Red Bull in those days, and I rolled in 232, 9 a.m.
Man, you John Jones that shit, huh? Like you were just like hedging your bet just in case. Like
fucking on it.
That's what he said he did, right? He said he used to get fucking hammered right before the fight, like the week before the fight, so that if he lost, he would have this excuse.
Yeah, it's
like
good. It's good psychology. And I just flat out given up. I was like, I've had enough. I can't be on this mental train anymore. So I'm just going to fucking chill.
Nice. Worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joe, back to your question. That was 9 a.m. in the morning. I was 232.
All right. And then you made weight, obviously, because the fight went on.
7 p.m. Yep.
I did.
By 7 p.m. And then before the fight, did you actually weigh yourself? Like how much weight did you gain back?
I had gotten back up to 228 before the fight. So I was a big fucking man that night. Veins popping out everywhere because when you refuel, I felt my muscles full. But the scary thing was I drank 3 gallons of water and 3 liters of Pedialyte, and I still couldn't piss. That's how dehydrated I was.
How did you feel walking into the ring, just physically?
I actually felt great. There was I didn't feel bad at all. But here's one of the things you can be an Eliot, you know this. It's one thing to go into a workout if you feel bad because you'll let yourself feel bad. When you're going into a big event or a fight like that, the psychology, it overwhelms everything else. Like you don't feel pain. You don't feel bad for yourself. I mean, at least for me, like I felt great.
People don't. Yeah. Like the excuses of I was, like, look, I was off tonight. You could see that you were slow or you can look back on that and see that,
Yep.
But in the fight, you feel amazing. You're fine.
Yeah, I was ready to go.
You're fine because like there's no other choice other than to be fine because this person's going to try to kill you. Like I can remember, where you have fights where like, you're getting kicked in the leg, your leg's fine. You're blocking with your shin, nothing. You're great. You're fighting. Last bell rings. 2 minutes later, walking out of the cage, you're like, oh, God damn. Yeah. You're like, oh, God. And like you hadn't been kicked in between then, like the fight stopped. But the last kick you took in the fight didn't hurt, but now it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Or you wake up the next day, you got new bruises you didn't know about.
Yeah.
Right?
And in the fight, you either wake up looking at the lights, or nothing really hurts. You can tell that you're incapacitated, like you're trying to fight and you can't. Yep. You can tell that kind of stuff, but you can't. You're not like you're not like, oh man, this hurts. I should stop.
Nope.
Because if you didn't have that, yes, it would hurt and you would stop.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, Eliot, Rob may have told me a little something here. He said you looked a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Inflated in the fight posters. Is it true that you had muscles photoshopped?
I just found out about this. Yeah, man. I was telling my friend Tyler Toner, the one with the weight cutting story a second ago. I was like, man, I'm friends with Rob McDonald again. We're like working together. He's yada yada. He's like, man, that fucking fight poster, bro. Like when I saw your picture and his picture, like I couldn't do that to my homie. I couldn't leave my homie like looking that tiny. Like I photoshopped some muscles on you. And I was like, hell yeah, man. Good looking. Thanks.
That's amazing. I love it. All right, Bobby, next question is for you. The fight. From your perspective, what went down?
Well, for me, when I got there, I was actually pretty calm. It's probably the most calm I've ever been before a fight. And I think that was due to, like I said, I was on another planet of anger and disrespect for months. And then that last week, I just kind of mellowed out. So when I went in there, I really felt like it was nothing special. It was another day at the office. I tried to do some things that Brian Cain suggested that I didn't normally do. I didn't sit in the back dressing room and worry about the fight and start thinking about what was going to happen. I sat at ringside and watched other people fight that night, and it was a really good card, Eliot. I don't know if you remember, Shane Carwin was on it. Mike Nichols was on it. Michelle Watterson was on it. Like, it was a really good card of a lot of people that went on to have great careers in the UFC. So I just enjoyed myself to the point where I drank a beer right before that fight while I was sitting at the table watching some of the other fights. And one of the promoters ran to the ring to get me, and they were like, you need to go wrap your hands now. You're fighting next. So I kind of put my beer down, sprinted to the back. We did a quick hand wrap and then went out to fight. And that was good for me because I didn't have time to think about all the things that could go wrong, because that was one of my problems before, is thinking too much about what other people were going to say, what other people were going to think, get inside my head. And then so I went in and fought you.
That's so interesting, because this is exactly what I do now.
Yeah, it works. Like I'm having a beer, chilling with my friends, watching a fight, no big deal. And then, because Eliot, one of the things for me was, and I've been in a lot of fights outside the ring, if you were to just have me meet somebody in the street randomly and say fight, if that was the sport, I'd never lose.
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't have
but
time
I think
to
that's a common thing for all of us, right?
Yeah.
That's I don't think you're alone in that aspect. We all feel like that, because there's no time to worry about, at 9 o'clock or at 10 o'clock on December the whatever, yada yada, like that.
No,
that's gone. That it just happens, and you have to defend yourself. There's no time for fight or flight. There's just fight. You just go. And the example I always give people of that is a guy named Chuck Liddell, and I don't know if you ever spent any time with Chuck, but before he fought Babalu in UFC 62, like Chuck at his peak, that man had an energy about him before fights. He was fucking scary to be around. Yeah, man. He was getting laid by a bunch of fucking hookers lined up out of his hotel room. Yeah, like he just did whatever he wanted.
And he murdered people. I mean, fucking murdered people. And he was scary. And then something happened to him where that whole vibe changed.
His chin went.
Like when he, but when he started getting beat, he wasn't that same Chuck that would fight
but his chin went anywhere. His chin went, right? So, like, if you know that no one's going to knock you out because you can take the shots, it's no offense. I hope this doesn't go poorly, but you see very few females knock each other out. Only like Cyborg and Amanda Nunes.
Yep.
For the most part. Well, it's a little nice to know that when you go in there to fight, you're not going to sleep. When when you're at heavyweights, everything like 170, 185 and over with those gloves, man, if you get touched right, you're out. It's over. Like, this is a very scary thing. Like, this is a different dynamic of what's going to happen in a fight. Like, you're constantly, you can't get hit by Shane Carwin.
No, but that's my point. That's all part of it. Like, he won the mental game before he ever walked in the cage.
Yes.
That guy had won the fight the 3 months before. That was it. Like, there was no part of him, there's no vibe that he was going to lose. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it was scary to be around, because it was that's how I feel around normal people. I don't know about you, Eliot, but like when I'm out, my wife asked me this. She's like, are you ever scared of normal people? I'm like, hell no. I'm like, I'll fight anyone. I disagree with you. Anyone, anywhere, anytime.
I disagree with you.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think.
Tell me why.
I'm not afraid, but I'm very aware that there's dudes walking around that look like Dwayne Ludwig that will fucking murder other people.
Yeah, except here's what I told her next. I go, anyone that I am worried about, I probably know them or know of them.
Sure.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I get it. I get it. I just, I'm not afraid. I wouldn't say I'm ever afraid, but I'm doing everything to never get into a fight again. Like, I don't like, you could call my wife a bitch probably, and I won't fight you. But,
oh, see, I'm totally different. I will throw hands at any opportunity.
Why?
Because of you. You fundamentally changed my psychology. You turned me into a fucking monster. That's why.
All right. I wholeheartedly disagree, because that's not we're not that's not making the world better, man.
Shit.
No, but Bobby and I, we talked about this just recently, that, you know, when push comes to shove, you kind of fall back on what you're the most comfortable with, and you're just comfortable in a fight.
Yeah.
You know, that plays to your strengths.
But part of that,
hold on. I'm super comfortable in a fight too, but it's just not what I'm trying to do with my life. I'm not trying to get into fights.
You know what the bigger picture here is, Eliot, and I think a lot of your listeners will understand this because it's relevant to real life. One of the things I always say is you become who you hang around. And fighting, I was hanging around a rough crew.
Yeah, we all were. That was the only way to do it.
That's just the way it was.
Yeah, but hold on. But we're 40 years old now.
Right, right.
You know what, Eliot? I haven't grown up. I know you still think Mark Kerr is the greatest grappler of all time, and it's just so old. He is. But I am still, like, at heart, that 27-year-old kid. And Joe, you know me well enough. I've got a constant chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, constant. I'm always trying to prove people wrong. You know, Eliot, if I had the answer to that, I probably, I have no idea. I mean, maybe it stemmed from being bullied as a kid. Part of it is my dad dying when I was younger, because I really felt like the world fucked me over. He was my best friend. It kind of really changed my whole world perspective on stuff. I was 20.
Okay.
And growing up, like, kind of being bullied, I didn't have friends. Like, my dad and
we're in the same boat. I had no friends either. I mean, I get it.
My dad was my friend, and his friends. And when my dad died, I really felt like I lost a whole social circle. And it was really weird. Like, I kind of felt I lost my family, because a lot of my dad's friends couldn't look me in the eye without tearing up. And it would really, really hurt me to be around them. Because it would remind me of my dad dying. And so I just kind of like had a chip on my shoulder. And then I fell in with Team Tompkins. And Sean was into some shady stuff. Boss, Rutan, Mark Hominick, Sammy Stout, all those guys. And they were hard dudes.
So let me ask you, though, but like martial arts, what are we doing here? In my opinion, this is like what my podcast is about. Like, we do, like, this shit doesn't matter. Like that, like the wins and the losses on your record, and the arm bars and the chokes that we did today when we went and trained, and what's your deadlift? What did you say it was?
635.
635. It doesn't fucking matter, right? It doesn't matter at all. What matters is the lessons that it teaches us, and the lesson that it teaches you is to get back in there and fucking work at it. So. Why the chip on the shoulder still, and not just fucking work on that chip?
I don't know. Let me ask you a question, just out of curiosity. But I mean, like you said, we're all sitting here. We're 40 years old, right? My core values are sort of based off of my Taekwondo experience: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit. Do you think that your current perspective is more of a new thing? Like, when you were 25 years old, 100%. Are you in? So you're in the same mental space as Bobby then, but you're saying you've changed since.
Well, I had what I like to call a mental breakdown / spiritual awakening, where this didn't work for me. This mental space did not work for me at all. Like, I used to love to walk around and scream how tough I was. Even at, I'm 38, almost 39 now. Even at 35, I did that. And it was kind of how you describe your week, Bobby, in Colorado. Like, you left Canada, you're like, oh my God, thank God those motherfuckers are gone. I'm gonna eat Qdoba and drink fucking beer because I can't. Like that. Yeah. Like, that's how it went for me. I couldn't do that anymore. Like, that was too fucking, like, that was not who I like. And it led to a breakdown of me. Crying on the phone to my friends at fucking all night long because I don't know fucking why. I thought I was never going to sleep again or whatever it was. And so I had to, like, take a good hard look at how I was living my life. And I was successful, right? I had martial arts schools. I was going on whatever. Look, I didn't have a fucking private jet, right? I'm not Dana White. But,
right.
But you know what I mean? Like, I could do basically whatever it is I wanted to do. But but that chip on the shoulder thing broke me. That trying to prove how tough I was broke me.
See, the hard part for me, Eliot, is I've actually had a different experience. And Joe, you know this from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
When my dad died, I had such a chip on my shoulder. I was out to get the world. And honestly, it helped me do shit.
Let me ask you guys a question. How long have you guys been friends?
Well, we actually met Eliot in an elevator in 2001.
So 20 years, okay.
Well, no. We weren't friends then. Listen, I made it. I was second in the world for IKF kickboxing.
Okay.
And Joe was good friends with a guy who knocked me the fuck out named Trent Tompkins. And Joe and I passed each other in an elevator and like stink-eyed each other. We almost got in a fight that had to be broken up. And then we didn't cross paths again until he came to one of my seminars in 2015 or 16.
All right.
And then we became friends.
Gotcha.
Right. So kind of like me and you. I wanted to kill you, and then we became friends. And then me and Joe, I wanted to kill you and your friend at one point, and then we became friends. But no, for me, like when my dad died, the chip on my shoulder helped me do a lot of stuff. I was never naturally athletic. I wasn't good at stuff, but that anger, I guess, or that chip on my shoulder helped me do stuff. So the hard part for me is like, I don't like feeling like that sometimes, but Joe, it helps me do shit. Like, Joe, you've known me long enough. If you want to motivate me, tell me I can't do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even your whole every damn day has that bit of an edge to it, like it's just part of what motivates you. It taps into a little bit of anger, which is a very motivating thing.
Well, and then I got feedback.
Hold on, but we know that that's not correct. We know that anger does not motivate the best. We know that love does.
Maybe not.
No, we know this. This is scientifically proven.
Yeah, except if I can be really honest right now, I don't think the whole love thing was working for you on December 1st, 2007.
Yeah, I was not there. I was motivated by anger.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, touche.
Yeah. No,
very nice.
Of course.
Done, Eliot.
Yeah, no, of course not. But where I am now, like, I'm I don't know. For me, I know a couple of things. I'm sitting in my office that my wife made for me, and I have 2 posters on the wall, and one of them is darkness can't drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Because hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And we know how to make things better. And it's never with separating ourselves or dividing ourselves or hating someone else. Because that you allow that person to change you. When you approach that person with love, and when you approach every situation with a positive rather than a negative, you'll do much better. Are we going to end this podcast with Bobby crying? I don't know.
I'll have an awakening, Joe. Back to that fight though.
You beat my ass. Well, I had no concept of any of this.
So my
but you still think Mark Kerr is the fucking best grappler, right? Like you're living in 2007 still, man.
So I want to kind of give our listeners here sort of a perspective. So I mean, for what I'm understanding is Eliot, you're just showing up for another day at work. This is what you do. And from Bobby's perspective, I mean, he had completely altered his entire life for the sole purpose of destroying you in front of your union law.
Yeah, for sure. And it worked. I'm not saying it didn't work. Right? It definitely worked. He won the fight. I'm not even going to even try to dispute that. I mean, I don't remember a single thing from the fight.
Really?
I can tell you because I remember Eliot.
Yeah, I remember nothing.
So
I remember walking into the cage, and that's it. I remember walking in the cage, looking for my wife, and nothing else. And not like, oh, you got knocked out, you don't remember. Like it's not that. It's my mind was so shot that I couldn't. Nothing. I have nothing.
Yep. So I was drinking my beer at ringside, Joe. One of the promoters went and got me. You need to wrap your hands and get out now. Wrap my hands. I walked out to my entrance music, which I carefully chose. It was "You're the Best" by Joe Esposito from The Karate Kid.
Fuck yeah!
Because I purposely wanted to troll you, Eliot. So I didn't have my serious music. I'm like, I'm gonna clown this guy. Went into the ring, and I was convinced that I was going to destroy you.
What round did the fight end?
The start of round 2.
The start of round 2.
So I was convinced. You got to understand. I thought I was getting brought into your house, your hometown. I was a stepping stone. Everyone there was laughing at me, and I was there to shut everybody up. So I was going to beat you up in front of your parents, steal your girlfriend, smash you, getting in a fight with your cornerman after the fight. Like it was on.
Dwayne would have fucked you up, bro.
Me and Dwayne are friends. He
fucked you up.
I think Dwayne would have took my side.
No way. No way. You don't understand what it's like before Dwayne in a fight, man. Like normally,
he's
like
a scary human.
Oh, bro,
he's a scary human.
Holy shit! Because I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's just too good since you said that. So the way my fight career started was Amal Easton, my now business partner, but my jiu-jitsu teacher. I said I wanted to fight. He called Sven and Dwayne, obviously very tight. So Dwayne started teaching us kickboxing. I'd never kickboxed before. I mean, I did karate, but that shit don't work. I'd never kickboxed before this. And so, a couple months in, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks in, Dwayne spars with us one time. Big gloves, no takedowns. Oh my fucking God. And it wasn't like a round. Like the way we did it was 12 rounds. 12 fucking rounds. And I had to do 8 and Tyler had to do 4 because Tyler was a lighter weight. So there was someone else there for Tyler. And I just got murdered, man. For a year probably, I just got murdered by Dwayne. I would drive to Tyler and I would drive to practice crying, in the car next to each other, afraid of what was going to happen. So before my first UFC fight, Dwayne, something happened to his house. He was cornering me. Something happened to his house. He missed his flight. He was going to drive to Vegas, and I was like, "Nah, man, I bought your ticket on Southwest. Just pay the change fee." And he was like, "Oh, fuck yeah, okay." But he was already in his car, driving. So anyway, we're walking out. He grabs me and says, "Look at me, motherfucker." He goes, "I don't care what you do in there, but if you don't fucking fight, I'm going to fuck you up right after." And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, oh God. And I'm bouncing in the cage and I'm staring at the dude across me going, oh shit, man. And Bruce Buffer's announcing my name and I'm like, fuck, Dwayne's going to fuck me up. All right, I better go do this. Dwayne's going to fuck me up, and but when Dwayne gets this dark look in his eye, there's no coming back. He's gone. And so no, Dwayne would kill anybody.
He's really like that too, Eliot.
I know
with
he's
all
really
my heart and soul. If you wouldn't have performed that, he would have fought you.
Oh, he would have beat me up. Oh, he would have beat me up. Oh, without a doubt, he would. Yeah, If I wouldn't have fucked that dude up, he would have beat me. He would have beat the fucking dog shit out of me.
Oh yeah, him and Mark Hominick. I don't know if you know who Mark is, but they're very similar. They're two of the scariest men I've ever met in my life, and they both weigh under $150.
No, Dwayne 190, man.
Oh, is he heavier now?
Yeah, and he's not heavier now, but then he was 190.
Really? I thought he was lighter.
No, he fought at 155. He had these insane weight cuts like you every goddamn time.
Fair enough.
30-pound weight cut every fucking time.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so
anyway, that fight, Joe. Come out for the belt, pick Eliot up and slam him as hard as I can. Pick him up, slam him again, because I was terrified to be on the ground with you, Eliot.
You just kept slamming.
So I was told, pick him up, drag him to the middle of the ring where the hard post is, slam his head off it, and then get up and do it again. So that's what I did. I want to say in that first round, I slammed you 7 or 8 times.
Fuck yeah, good for you.
Went back to the corner, and I was exhausted because this shit was at altitude. I was from sea level, and I go, Shaw, what do I do? Shaw goes, slam him again. Fuck you, old man. I can't fucking keep slamming this guy. How can this dude take this shit over and over and over again? Went out, slammed you again.
It doesn't hurt, right?
Nope.
We know this.
We scrambled a little bit. I hit you with a knee. You dropped, and then I got on top. And
you hit me with a knee, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought I'd never taken a knee to the head in my career. Fuck nope. Yeah.
I've got it on video. I didn't even realize I did that. All I know is you slumped beside the side of the cage, and then I jumped on top and hammer fisted until the ref pulled me off.
All right. I got beneath the face.
I've got some good video on it. I watch it a lot, Eliot.
I'm sure especially sounds like it, man.
Now I go watch.
Sounds like it.
Yes.
He's drawing his kid out of bed in the middle of the night.
Come here, Weebs, come watch this shit.
No, Eliot, I got to tell you a funny story. So the other night, Joe, we were watching the UFC in my house, and Eliot was there. And I'm like, hey, buddy, that's talking to my 10-year-old Beans. I go, hey, buddy, that's Dad's buddy named Eliot. He goes, oh, who's Eliot? I'm like, well, I beat him for the Ring of Fire World Championship. So Beans is a big fan of yours, Eliot.
Fuck yeah, Beans.
Your number appeared on my phone the other day, and Beans is like, Dad, your UFC buddy is calling you. He's really cool. And I'm like,
yes.
Yeah, Beans. And then in perfect Beans form, he goes, hey, Dad, does he know his championship belt is under my bed right now? And he started, because I gave that belt to Beans, and Beans started laughing like it was such a shot at you that he has your belt.
Oh, that's funny.
I was dying.
All right. Well, I want to kind of start wrapping us up here. So, Eliot, the next thing
I got chili on the stove. I got to go make sure I didn't fucking burn it.
The next thing I want to know is like after the fight.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? What'd you do? What happened?
I had a tough time getting fights. The next fight I had was on The Ultimate Fighter. I started working on some sports psychology with Brian Cain. And
good. They're the best.
They're the best. And then
wanted to see what I was on, Eliot. I could have just helped you. I could have stepped in and taught you the secrets of anger.
But that, none of that all, and then I went on. I had a decent career. I had 6 fights in the UFC. Retired. I have a great life. But my life for sure took a drastic change a couple years ago. When I talk about the breakdown.
Right,
I only call it a spiritual awakening because, it's not, the other side is welcoming.
Yeah, yeah. And Bobby, what about you? What happened after that night?
Man, I spent the next 3 weeks in pretty much a self-induced coma from eating so much chicken McNuggets. Like I was off the fight
let's talk
wagon.
about this. How the fuck can you be Bobby Maximus and driving into McDonald's? That's not even meat. Like come on, man. Like it's hard to take advice from you, like on my nutrition and all that, on my physical performance, when every other video is you eating chicken McNuggets or like a double royale with cheese.
Again, I blame that on you. I cut so hard for that fight. I was broken after. So I live.
Where do you live? You live in Utah now, right?
Yes.
Man, like I go to my therapist once a week. I'll find you one.
Okay. The 3 weeks after that fight, I probably ballooned up to close to 250 pounds because I was eating between 40 and 80 chicken McNuggets a day for the 3 weeks
after that. It doesn't even taste good, man.
No, they taste really good.
I don't think he was tasting it, Eliot. He was just inhaling.
But what about now? Like you still eat that dog shit food.
I'm like a child, Eliot. I can't help it. I'm like a kid. Joe, you know this.
Oh, yeah, this is true. This is true.
Like in some ways I can be wise and smart and mature and a good leader. But when it comes to myself, Joe, I am the equivalent of a 7-year-old. In fact, my wife will tell you.
Do you let your kids eat that shit?
Oh, fuck yeah. Me and Weebs and Beans go to McDonald's all the time. We have McDonald's parties.
It's bad for you, man. It's bad for people. You know this. Like our parents, it's not our parents' fault that they let us go to McDonald's. They didn't know any better. We know better.
Just makes me happy.
Yeah, but Eliot, but fuck you, man. What about your kids?
Can't you see Bobby playing on the playground?
We know better, Bobby. This is not what you do.
Man, Lisa, it's funny. Lisa leaves to go on these powerlifting training tips, and she comes back, and it's like pizza boxes everywhere, empty McDonald's wrappers, and like Weebs and Beans haven't slept in a week because they've been playing video games all night.
Does she get mad? Does she get mad at you for feeding them McDonald's?
No, she's cool with it now. But there was a point, Eliot, and I'm not even joking about this, Joe. I don't know if you remember, me and Beans, the 10-year-old, we used to sleep. We moved our bed because we used to sleep together. We moved our bed to the living room and put our mattress on the floor like a couple of crack addicts so we could play video games all night. And there was times that my 5-year-old at the time, Beans, would wake me up and he goes, Dad, we really need to go to bed. Like we need to fucking get a handle on this. There's one more thing.
Mature one.
So your 5-year-old's putting down the bedtime.
Yeah. So there was another one. So when Lisa moved in, and I hope
really you need therapy, man.
Yeah, I hope she listens to this podcast.
We need to get you some help.
He goes, my 5-year-old goes, Dad, so this girl's moving in, huh? I go, yeah, buddy. He goes, you know what that means? No more bad words, no more sleeping on the mattress in the living room, and no more, he called them biggers, no more biggers in the night, because there were times I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and be hungry and I didn't know what to do with them. So I'd wake him up and put him in the car and take him to McDonald's.
Holy shit.
And he knew it was bad. So that was when Lisa moved in. No more biggers in the night, no more sleeping in the living room.
Party is over.
Bad words.
All right. So last question I've got for you guys, and this is for both of you together. How did you cross paths again? How did you reconnect? And what was that like for you?
It just recently happened. I was I'm competing again, and I had a competition, and I had just traveled to Argentina and back, which is within like 4 days. It's, that's a long travel with not a lot, and
right.
I just I didn't train like I had wanted to, or I don't even really care about, like, I try not to put my training. I train for fun. I compete for fun now, and I seem to do much better. Just like how Bobby was talking about, like, drinking a beer and yada yada, just watching the fights. Yeah. So I do have myself in that mindset, but I was like, man, I should probably train a little bit here. So when I got back from Argentina, I just crushed it for 2 days, and then I was wrecked, like not like sore, like if I walked up the steps, my heart would like I couldn't. I was in the mud, like overtrained in the mud. And I see, I'm on Instagram, who's not on the fucking gram. So I see Bobby always talking about like recovery. So I was like, well, let's fucking swallow your pride here, because you are not going to be okay. So I hit him up, and I think you probably know this, Joe. How many times does he call you a day? Because he calls me like 5.
Yeah, like 6, 7 times, easy.
So then, after that, I got 6 phone calls the next day, and here we are doing a podcast together.
So in addition to my anger, Joe, I'm also obsessive compulsive.
Yes.
To make that clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clearly.
Uh-huh.
And for that stuff, Eliot, I am all in on stuff like that. Like,
it was great advice. Let me say, it was phenomenal advice. He told me exactly what to do. He's like, you're going to be better in 3 to 4 days, and I was better in 3.
And we got you on a weight program now.
Now I'm doing some weights with him. We argue about this every day. I think he is a little confused. Like, we just have a difference. He calls training lifting, and I call training jiu-jitsu, and he calls jiu-jitsu like playing around, and that's what weights is for me. So like we just have a different, like, and I like doing both of them. I enjoy them, but I have to keep all of my training very fun. Like, I tap every day when I train. Like, I just, I'm always playing, having fun, and it's how I seem to do better. And like, if I can't touch my legs afterwards because I did some dumb fucking workout with like 120 deadlifts or some shit, and then followed by lunges and squats, I'm going to be very upset.
Eliot, I have beginners doing this workout. Like,
look, you keep saying this. You keep saying this. You have beginners doing this workout. Bro, come on, man. I am not a fucking beginner. I've been working out the whole time. You don't have them doing this. There's no fucking way that the blender botter people, like in the soccer moms, like, look, it's great. They need to exercise, but they're not better athletes than me. They're not in better shape than me. It's not possible.
You're impartial. I need to ask your opinion.
He's not impartial. He just fucking met me. No.
Okay. Joe, I gave him a goblet squat reverse lunge ladder.
After 120 deadlifts.
At $135.
120 deadlifts.
So that was a warm up. Where's the workout?
Yeah, the warm up. Yeah.
So Joe.
Yeah, CrossFit motherfuckers. 10-to-1
ladder of goblet squats and reverse lunges, and I thought I was being nice to him, so I gave him the girl's standard of 36 pounds.
No, you gave me the 53 pounds, and I told you no.
That I gave the 36. So he calls me after. He goes, I had to drop the weight, and he had to do it without weight.
Yeah.
Crushing.
Well, I will tell you 2 things. One, yes, the people at Blender Bottle could totally do that.
Yes.
But also, I would put the people at Blender Bottle up against almost any other organization as far as how hard they work out.
Well, they've had 8 months of my craziness.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but please don't say beginners. I'm not a beginner.
Listen, man, I live my life.
No, let's wrap this shit up. I got to go check my chili.
Okay, now one more thing, though, Eliot, because this is important.
Go.
I'm also the type of guy that I probably want you to win ADCC trials. It's this huge grappling tournament for people that don't know, more than you want to win.
Yeah, because I can't want to win.
Like I'm obsessed with this stuff. And Joe, you know this too. I mean, Joe, I'm always calling you. What did you eat today? What did you do for a workout? Are you sure you went hard enough? Did you sleep enough? Like, I really want things for people in my orbit.
So, and I agree with you. I appreciate that. I'm the same. But for me personally, I know how I do best is when I am just having fun.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know, so like if when I start, like I'm current, like I think you saw it probably like a couple weeks ago. Flow Grappling put out their beginning of the year rankings, and I'm ranked 8th in the fucking world. I wasn't even trying. Like Seth Daniels, the promoter of Fight to Win, he sent me a screenshot. I'm like, what is this, man? Did you Photoshop my name on there? You know, and like because I'm not even like paying attention to it, but I'm I'm beating world champions now. I beat a couple of world champs, so. Yeah, but only because my mindset's right. Only because I understand. Right. Only because I understand what it is, and I figured it out.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad I saw that list, and I started writing programs so that we could systematically take apart the 17 in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, Gordon fucked me up last Wednesday.
Well, that's not going to happen when you can deadlift 635, Eliot.
Let's go.
That's right.
Let's go. Yeah, it's all about the deadlift, I'm sure. All right, guys, I got to roll.
All right. Hey, Eliot, thank you so much, guys, for sharing. I appreciate it. This has been super fun.
When is this going to air?
Not soon enough.
Probably next week. We've got we did one on toxic masculinity that's coming out next week. That's probably I think it's gonna make a lot of people hate us, Joe.
Yeah, probably.
I think.
I just disagree. We talked about it, Bobby. I just what people are calling toxic masculinity is not masculinity. We talked about this. It's like some bitch ass shit, you know?
Yes.
Yes.
Not female bitch ass shit. Like you let your fear. You know, to me, when I define bitch, a bitch is someone who allows their fear to get in the way of what they do and how they act. So so this like toxic masculinity term, it's a bunch of bitches doing it. You know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
There's way more men that are bitches than women.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Peace.